Hi, everybody. Welcome to the swamp. Thank you and welcome to Miss Linda G, someone that we all know. And very, very appreciative that she's decided to slog it out down here into the swamp to come and visit us.
Where's your location, Sherry?
I'm about 3 miles from the largest land based U.S. continental swamp in the U.S. I am about 3 miles from the Atchafalaya swamp, and
And
it's the
where's that
largest down in Louisiana.
at? Louisiana
I'm
Soul?
down at the boot, at the bottom of the
My
boot.
grandma was born in Mississippi.
Oh, my late husband was from Mississippi, so
Oh,
yeah. And I've lived up and down the Gulf Coast my whole life, except for a 10-year stretch that I went out west and lived in Phoenix, and then I came
my
back home.
just now on the news, they're saying Charlie Crist has passed to Satan on the.
Oh, fingers crossed on
Yeah, let's
that.
cross our fingers.
We lived in Florida back when I was 8, 9,
Yeah.
right in that area. We moved there like 3 weeks before Hurricane Camille hit, and lived through it and stayed. And
Did you lose everything?
we were lucky we did not. Of course, we didn't have anything there yet. We were staying with friends who, fortunately, they were far enough in town that they didn't lose anything. But God bless you, another couple of other families that had come and hunkered down with us during the storm, their houses got just everything was gone.
Everything was ruined.
And yeah, everything was ruined. I mean, I know one family who lived in a older house built up off the ground, and they still had over 3 feet of water in their house. That's how deep the water was. But they were like across the highway from the beach.
Oh, yeah.
So they were right in the middle of it.
Was there any deaths in that one?
Uh, yeah, they did have several. I don't remember the exact number. Um, that was before Interstate 10 went all the way through. And so after you got past Baton Rouge, you
Yeah.
had to cut south and take Highway 98 to get into Northwest Florida. And at the time, it was nothing but beautiful old plantation homes up and down the
Ooh,
beach.
like that.
And when they finally opened the road back up to travel again, a couple of months later, we went through to go back to Texas to get our stuff. And it was just devastating. Probably 8 out of every 10 homes was just gone. Nothing but a foundation,
Exactly.
fishing trawlers up in people's yards. And it really kind of brought home the power of the storm.
Right,
And,
right.
and I was just a little girl at the time. I didn't really understand before it hit, but boy, I got it after it
You
hit.
got it after. I
It
remember
was
being a little
scary.
girl in Yosemite. My parents were young. Mom had me when she was 17. And my dad was so strong. Anyway, he threw the tents and had the family all there. And then a fire came. So he packed us up in a station wagon and we were driving down the highway. And I'll never forget seeing the forest on fire with
Oh, I can't
fire.
imagine that.
Of course, I'm living through it now in this place, but whoa, I remember that really affected me. I was probably about 8 or 9. So, and you said you were that age when that.
Yeah, when we went through our first one, I know I had never experienced a sandstorm until I moved to Phoenix. And the first one I saw, I literally got on the phone to call my mother back here in Louisiana to say it looks just like in the movies. It was scary.
Yeah.
And then the first fire that we had close to there, we didn't have to evacuate, but some of the outer areas closer to the mountains had to evacuate. And
Right.
that was kind of scary. I was like, oh,
It's
wow, I've
scary.
never.
Evacuation kind of makes you think. I just grabbed photos and paperwork and a few. I didn't even care about jewelry, just a few jammy bottoms that I love to live in. But thank you guys for wishing me well yesterday.
I know you were
I
so sick.
I had the it still hurts. My arm still hurts.
But yeah,
I had the shingles and the flu.
the flu.
The nurse said the shingles are probably going to create some side effects. And I
Yeah.
wasn't worried because even with COVID vaccines, I've never had a side effect. Never.
Oh, aren't
So
you
I
lucky?
said, okay, and I've gotten the flu shot all the time when I worked as
Well,
a
in the shingles, you have to go back in 6 months and get the
I
second
did. I
one.
already. This is
Oh,
my.
that was your second one. Because when I
So
did my
guess what?
shingles, it didn't bother me. But
No,
when I
well,
did the
second one,
COVID and a booster,
right?
both times it was like the day of the shot, I was fine. Next day, sick as a dog, couldn't get out of
That's
bed.
next day.
The
Okay,
day after
but
that, I was back to normal again. So,
here's the thing. My son got his flu shot. He's only 27. The same day I got mine. He was sick as me yesterday. I was
oh,
sick and he
wow.
was sick. Was it the flu shot that did it then?
Yeah, the flu shot, I'll usually get like, I'll just feel kind of the
Yeah.
next day, but nothing serious. The last time I had the flu and the pneumonia shot together, I was sick the next day, but I think that's just because I got double blasted on it.
Oh yeah.
And it's time for the 2 or 3 years, whatever it is, for your pneumonia shot. It's time for me to get that done again and get my flu shot. But I'm trying to hold off a little closer to Christmas because I work at the university. So
Okay.
we get 2 weeks off for Christmas. And so it's like, if I can time it just before we go on vacation, then at least I got a week to kind of be lazy before Christmas hits. And but I am so very
Oh,
thankful
Mama
you
Bear
decided
says
to
the flu
come. And
shot. Mama Bear says the flu shot made her feel worse than the COVID shot.
yeah, a lot of people this year have said that. I've heard a
But
lot of
I'm
people
over
say that.
65. I'll be 70 next year. So they might have given me that senior citizen dose. That's pretty potent.
That's what I'm. Well, I just turned 61. And last year when I got my flu shot, they gave me the one for senior citizens. I said, God, I guess I'm old now.
Oh, it's so hard to believe. Time just flies by.
Oh, I know. And it seems like the older you get, the faster time flies.
Yes.
It doesn't
Doesn't
seem
it?
to
I
slow
remember
down.
when you were 15. I remember being 15. Couldn't wait till I turned 15 and a half to get my driver's license permit.
And it took forever.
I studied for that test. I didn't miss one.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
I started driving when I was 12. Illegally, unfortunately. My mother just couldn't handle driving on the freeways with 18-wheelers. And back at that time, we had family in Texas. We were living in Florida, so there were a lot of trips back and forth. And so when we would get on the highway, she'd have me drive because it didn't
Probably
bother
did
me,
not. You were young. Yeah.
Yeah. And so by the time I got my driver's license, I'd already been driving for several years. So it was a piece of cake for me. But
Hi, you
yeah,
guys.
it's I put in a thing for some questions for you.
Oh, cool.
Got a couple. One that I came up with from this morning. I read an article, I think it was in Ross Story. The man who attacked Mr. Pelosi, Nancy's husband, told the police he was on a suicide mission and had a whole list of
Yes.
Democrats on his list, but they haven't said who he was gunning for. And
They won't.
yeah, I tried to just focus in and see if I could pull up any maybes, but
I feel
I
Salwell
didn't.
was in there again.
Yeah, they've been really
I
hot
felt
on
Governor
him.
Newsom was in there.
And I've been worried about Adam Schiff
Adam Schiff, yeah.
because he's
Anybody
another
on the
one.
January 6th, he'd get a hold of what's her face too, the Republican on the January 6th. It feels like it's connected to Pelosi was the big one.
Yeah.
If he could have done Pelosi, then he would have moved on. He would have just started hitting the road and start getting them. And wasn't that terrible? If she didn't tell him the truth, he was going to blow her kneecaps out.
Yeah, he brought the hammer to break her kneecaps. And then if she didn't tell him the truth, he would just keep swinging. I was like, that makes no sense.
I'm about ready to leave Twitter, but on Twitter, I was posting that. You know how Don Jr. did that joke with a pair of underwear and a hammer?
Oh,
He
was
thought
that
it was
just
so
horrible
funny.
or what?
Well, Jimmy Kimmel did a joke too. He did, here's Don Jr.'s, and it was a can of hair gel and a bag of white powder and a
Oh
pee
my God.
pee pump.
I'm
And
surprised
I
the
thought,
Republicans haven't been screaming at the top of their lungs.
so I put it on Twitter. I put, Jimmy Kimmel Jr. had a reply to Don Jr. Oh, you should have seen all the hate mail. Oh, well, blah, blah. I said, you know what? You guys are something. You laugh like
Dish
hell.
it out, but they
He's
can't
talking
take it.
about an 82-year-old man getting hit in the head and with a hammer who's still in the ICU. To you,
Yeah.
that's funny. This guy just turns around and makes a joke about Don Jr. How your panties are all up in a toss.
Oh yeah, yeah. And the conspiracy theories that have been coming out that the Democrats were behind it, Nancy staged it, and all this, or that her husband was really gay and looking for
Oh,
a
that's
boyfriend, and just it's like,
yeah.
come on, people. It really. I mean, I'm surrounded by Trumpers down here, so being in the deep South, it's kind of carved out a little.
Are they still loving him?
Uh, Not as much as they were.
Yeah.
What worries me is the top candidate running for governor, because our current governor is a Democrat, but he can't run again. He's already served 2 terms. And the top candidate is the attorney general who's running, and he's a solid Trumper. He was in on the original lawsuits, had signed in on it and signed off on it. And I was like, oh, please don't let him win.
I don't have my list with me. I'm going to redo it too. But
Yeah.
like I said, Charlie Crist will probably win Florida, and people were like, no way. And then they just announced on Twitter, Charlie Crist is ahead.
Yeah. I mean, when
I'm
we
telling
lived
you
in,
guys, don't listen to the media. I haven't
yeah,
watched MSNBC in I don't know how long, because I'm not going to listen to this Debbie Downer
I
stuff.
quit watching the news a good 6-8 months ago, just because it got to where I had indigestion all the time. And I couldn't sleep.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, I can't do this anymore. So now I catch headlines, a couple of articles a day. That's the extent of it. It's like, I got to get away from it. And it was starting to tell on me. And just because these people are just crazy. I mean,
Well, there's karma. That's for real. And what you sow shall you reap. And
oh yeah, oh
we're coming into a downfall.
I'm a firm believer in that. What goes around comes around.
Yeah.
And I don't have to do anything. I can just stand back and wait for it to hit you.
Yeah.
Not get in the way. But in the
I just have
meantime,
a bad feeling about Europe. I'm getting a bad feeling about Putin and about Kim Jong-un. And I think something big may happen. Although I've often felt it's not really Kim Jong-un that's alive anymore. I'm thinking it's his sister, but that could be conspiracy. So,
because I've read something about his sister was 10 times worse than he was. It was like, holy moly, man. That's...
Yeah, and the guy that they're photographing that's supposed to be Kim doesn't really look like him. And people have shown, but anyway, the main thing is he's already shot 24 missiles towards South Korea. And South Korea turned around and shot 2 of their missiles towards North Korea. But
wow.
when stuff starts happening, I predicted this, that Putin, not Kim Jong-un, Putin was going to do something really stupid, or he would be stopped before he did it by his own people, because his people don't want him to use nukes. They know they can kiss their butts goodbye.
No, I saw an article last night where they said that those in the Russian army, once they leave, they're letting it get leaked back to Russia that they're dead, so that they can continue to stay in Ukraine and hide or fight for the Ukrainian army, because they're joining the other side, and they're like,
I saw a video of a whole bunch of Russians coming in and saying, can we work for you instead?
Yeah, I mean, they don't want anything to do with it, but it makes me feel bad for their families, because now you get notified your son, your husband, your father, whatever, is dead, and that's got to be
Well,
difficult.
they're sending those young kids out there with no background, nothing, not even a warm suit to keep them
Yeah,
warm, and they might as well say they're dead.
that's it. I mean, my son spent 5 years in the Navy. He went on 2 deployments. So I know that fear of your child being sent to battle, and it's that nightmare of the knock on the door, you
Yes,
know.
with the
I
military
mean, you're
part.
proud and at the same time you're terrified.
Yeah,
So I'm just glad he came home all in one piece.
good, good.
He still battles PTSD pretty bad, but we deal with it.
What
One day,
what what war was he in?
he was in the Navy in the early 2000s.
So he
Um,
was in
the no,
the one Bush did.
the one Bush started, and then Obama had to deal with. He was in the Navy, and his home port was Pearl Harbor. I was like, who gets sent to Hawaii on their first assignment? Come on.
But what caused his PTSD?
And they went on 2 deployments to the Persian Gulf,
Okay.
where they had confrontations with the Iranians and others. And so a lot of it, he just looks at me and says, I can't tell you, it's classified. So
Oh.
I'm like,
Well, I
okay,
wonder if he saw the UFOs. A lot of people would see UFOs out at sea.
yeah, I don't know. He's never said anything about that. He'll just roll his eyes at me if I say something.
Well, good for him. He keeps his mouth
But
shut.
I'm excited.
Unlike Trump, who sells anybody that wants the information.
That's it. Well, I'm really excited. He just started a new job yesterday, so I'm hoping that this one works. And yeah, he'll be working from home, so
Okay.
that's a good thing. And so doing pretty much what he likes to do anyway. And when he's not doing that, he's gaming or playing music or painting or.
Is he living with you?
Yes, he lives with me. I'm a handicap, so it's a help for me
Oh, yeah.
because he's kind of here to help me out. And then
Right.
my brother and my nephew, who just turned 17, they live here with us as well. We had all moved in together to take care of my mother because she had severe dementia,
Okay.
and so we were tag teaming it, and we all took, after she passed, my brother and I were like, well, you know what, we've been together this long.
Just stay
We
here.
haven't killed each other yet. We might as well stay together. It's cheaper. And I said, yeah, you're right. So, and then last summer or a year ago summer, we moved into our new apartment and got settled. And then I finally bit the bullet and started coming online. And they put up movable walls. I have drapes for my walls because
Cool.
my bedroom is half of the living room. So,
Okay.
and so when I want privacy, I just shut the drapes.
There you go.
I'm like, I'm closing the walls. Y'all leave me alone.
There
So
you
they
go.
know when they see the drapes closed, I'm probably online.
And look at
And
you. You already know. It took me forever to learn StreamYard. I paid all that money for StreamYard, and I
I'm
thank
still on
God
the
for
free program.
Debbie at Freebird. She taught me how to do it.
But and I knew that there was a thing to do like to do an automatic raffle, but I
Yes,
didn't know what
I
it was.
figured it
And
out.
then I saw you and Mel talking about it. I went, wait a minute. And so I went in to go look, and sure enough, there it was. I was like, well, I'll be doggone.
Yeah,
I
and I
never,
just learned how to put it on the screen. So when I do I'm going to do one at 2:00, a raffle for 2 free readings, and it'll show. It'll show. It goes real fast, and then
yeah, I've seen Aiden use it before. And
okay.
I saw it because the first time I saw him use it, I was like, where did he get that? That's
Yeah,
kind of
and it's
cool.
way easier than we were cutting out people's name. They were submitting their names, and
Yeah, I was writing them on little pieces of paper, and
way easier.
I've got 2 readings coming up that I've people have won. So and it was one was you met Kate, Dream Detective Kate at
Yes,
Angel Heart. Yes, she and I did a Halloween thing together, and we did a scary movie trivia night thing. So we were name the movie and whatnot, and then we had a winner for that. And then when I hit my 500 and got my community tab, I had said I would give away a drawing. So I did a drawing for that, and so I've got those scheduled to come up.
So
And
you're at 500 now?
I'm a little over. I'm at five something. I don't know.
Oh,
But I've only actually been online since May, end of April, beginning of May. I mean, I had the channel for years and didn't know I could do anything with it. And it was just YouTube. I went and watched videos,
right.
and then when I got involved, and everybody was like, do a channel, and I was like, I didn't. I set it up, and then I just kind of sat on it. I was very intimidated. I didn't know what to do or how to do it, and so
So do you read tarot cards or do you
I
give
do. I read tarot and oracle, or my pendulum. Um, I've been told I'm a medium, but that just hasn't really come through yet. It's
Okay.
like the more I do, the more things are starting to open up. When I was a little girl, things happened all the time. And my family would just look at me and say, "Oh, yeah, you got the gift."
Yeah.
And it was like no big deal. All the women in the family have it. So they all just have different variations of it.
Right.
When I was little, I would hear a man talk to me. Sounded like Darth Vader voice, that kind of voice. And I would talk to him when I was like 4 or 5. And somebody would say, "Who are you talking to?" And I'd say, "God." And they'd say, "Oh, okay." And it was like no big deal. And then when I got a little older, it was kind of that deja vu sense. I would show up or go somewhere and I'd be like, "Oh, I've been here before. I've done this before." And I hadn't, but I could rattle off where I was and what was around and without having seen it. And when I was I guess about 13, I started astral travel.
Right.
I
I
would
did
kind
that.
of,
I asked not to do it. I didn't like it.
I wouldn't leave the room as long as I could see myself laying on the bed. I was okay with it. It was kind of cool just to float on the ceiling, but I wouldn't leave. I was scared if I left, I wouldn't be able to find me
Yeah.
again.
Right.
I wouldn't get back, and then what would happen?
Right.
Um, so it was kind of scary. And I mean, we're talking back in the early 70s. So,
Right.
who do you ask? There was nobody to really talk to. And even though everyone in our family kind of accepted that all the women had a version of the gift, nobody talked about it.
Yeah.
Nobody explained anything. So, it was just I just kind of shoved it in the closet until the lockdown happened. And then it was like, blew the closet door off.
Well,
And I started watching, and stuff started coming back. And it was like, wow.
so when you're watching somebody, like even me, if I say something that rings true, you say, "Oh, that rings true."
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The first time you said that it was going to be a gray haired man and a dark woman that was going to win for the president, the minute you said it, it just hit me. It was like, oh, that's absolute truth. I knew it at that moment. That's
But I
exactly
didn't know if it was Bloomberg or if it was Biden.
right. Right.
But when I saw Biden one day, I saw the light come around him. I
Yeah.
said, "It's him. It's Biden." So I
Yeah.
knew he would pick a dark-haired woman to be vice president because
And she was the first one that I even gave money to when they first started all running. Was Kamala. I just really liked her. And
I like her too, and I like
so it
Buttigieg.
tickled me to death when they were able to hook together. But whenever you one time you were doing a live stream talking about that we wouldn't know the winner right away. It would take a few days. And
I
that
said that?
you said it would take a few days. And
Dang.
that when it happened, people would dance in the streets.
Yes.
And then you went, not literally, but they'll feel like dancing in the street. And then when it happened, it was like 4 or 5 days later.
Yeah.
And people around the world were literally dancing in the street.
Dancing.
I was like, oh my God.
Well, now I see ants. Don't forget, I said, with
Yeah.
this midterm, there's ants, and ants will build bridges that where none exist to get
Yeah.
to where they want to go. and it's just
Yeah.
zoom, zoom, zoom. And so when the
When you first said
Democrats,
that, I felt it. Yeah. And
yeah,
so,
when I first said that Democrats were going to win, and then MSNBC, well, it looks like they're going to hold the House, the Republicans, and this and that. And I just turned them off. I said, no.
yeah,
Are you
I know
still there?
everybody. Huh?
There you go. I still, you
Oh,
popped up. That scared me. I thought I lost
I
you.
disappeared. Where'd I go?
But
Um,
I think you guys are going to be surprised how well it'll go for the Democrats.
well, I hope so because we've got some pretty decent Democrats
Mm-hmm.
running for representative and Senate, trying to take out the incumbents. Who I swear, every
I
time
think
one of them,
Grassley's going to lose. I
every
think.
time I see one of them do his commercials when they pop up, I get
Oh,
so angry because it's like talking about doing this and that and the other, and I'm sitting there going, "You voted against every one of those things,
right.
but now you're going to take credit for it, and then turn around and blame the Democrats because it didn't."
That's how they roll. That's who they
Yeah,
are. Some people
yeah,
are woke and some people aren't.
exactly.
But I'm looking forward to that Marjorie Taylor Greene with her paperwork about impeaching Biden as soon as they take the House. They're going to impeach Biden. I can't wait till they lose, and she's got to throw that paperwork out. Did you feel she would win?
I do not.
I knew
I
both were
just keep
going to
getting
lose.
this feeling that it's going to be a like a real last minute kind of upset. She's in Georgia, right?
Yes.
And I know in Georgia, I don't know if it's for every position, but I know for definitely for the governor that if you don't get 50% or more of the vote, you go into a runoff.
Okay.
So if both people are really close, but neither one of them get over 50%, then they have to do a runoff. I think it's the same. I'm pretty sure it's the same way for Senate and representatives, because that's how Warnock and Austin got in.
Yeah.
They were both doing. Uh, uh, One of them was a runoff, and one of them was replaced. Warnock was replacing someone that got taken out. So um,
I don't see Herschel Walker winning at all.
I don't either. I mean, I know people in Georgia. It's like, yeah, I know they can be kind of stuck in the mud with some things, but they're
Well,
not
he
that
just lies
stupid.
so much. He just lies like that's what Barr told Trump. You just lie. You create chaos so much. People are tired of it.
Yeah, I remember when he won in 2016.
Oh God, I
I
can't.
literally was physically ill. I wound up staying home for 2 days from work because it made me physically ill. All I could think about was, oh my God. And then I started thinking about a month into it, I was like, you know what? He's the best thing that could have happened to this country because he's just blown the doors open on all
Right.
the crap that people thought was law. That was just a gentleman's agreement that
Yeah.
they all just kind of agreed upon. We
Yeah.
won't do this. We won't step over that line.
Well,
Even
and
though,
that's why he's so phobic about Russia. You know,
yeah,
he kept all those records and had the nerve to tell him, "Well, I'll give you back these records if you give me everything you have on Russia," because it's obvious that he used a foreign entity to become president.
I want to know how many undercover agents have been done away with because of
Because of him. Well, that's what
his selling secrets.
somebody said. We have a mole. We're losing people.
Yeah,
We're losing people on the field. And when they investigated, they found out it was Trump selling the information.
yeah. It's yeah, I mean, it just makes you sick of the stomach. For everybody new that's popped in, I was originally trying to type hello to everybody, but I can't keep up now. So hi, welcome.
Welcome.
Let's see. We had another question that someone had left, saying that Sterling had referenced prankster spirits as masquerading as a person's spirit guide, and they wanted to know if this could happen. Is that possible?
I don't know.
I don't. I don't
He
know
talked
myself.
about it. I don't remember
I don't know myself.
I don't remember hearing it.
I don't remember him saying it either, but that was the question. It just kind of jumped out at me, and I said, "Okay, well, I'll ask her.
I
Maybe
know
you
there's,
remember him saying something."
I've
But
seen it on people. This one family I read, their son-in-law was just horrible. And when I looked at him, I could see that black energy on him.
yeah,
And then I told
yeah,
her, he's either going to go to jail or he's going to die. And she said, well, he's only 42. I said, I know, but he's getting ready to get cut off, like done. And she called me a month later, and he had gone after his wife, her daughter, with his gun. She ran in the bedroom, slammed the door, and took a rifle and shot through the door and killed him. She
wow,
said, Linda, he's dead. Well, then when I read him for the bereaved, by the way, she didn't go to jail or nothing because I knew about him. He was just as clear and as happy as can be. So whatever that was on him
yeah,
dissipated when he died. And he was so happy, and he apologized to her, and he told her what to do with some of his effects. And it was very healing.
yeah. I know being down here in Louisiana, we have a lot of the voodoo and all
Yeah.
that stuff
Is
that
that
goes
for real?
around,
Is that
and
for
you
real?
have to be real careful that you don't mix with the wrong kind of juju medicine going on. Um, and it's very easy, or let me refrain that. It seems to have become a lot easier for me to spot people that are under that dark cloud. It's like I just get that feeling and I back off. It can be hard because of, like I said, I work at a university. So I deal with students from around the world, faculty from around the world. And I mean, I've had some students come in that you could tell they've brought something with them. You don't know what it is, but
Oh,
it's attached and it's scary. Most of them, though, no, most of them is just you just see pure light around them. So,
aw.
and that's really cool. I love to talk to them about what country they're from and what their culture is like, and just to make them feel a little more welcome, because some of them are very intimidated being in the U.S. for the
Yeah.
first time. They don't know what to expect,
Yeah.
and especially if they got Fox News back in their country.
Do they
That's
have
all they
Fox
know.
News in their country?
Some of them do, yeah.
Oh,
Some of them do. Um, I mean, there are some areas like in India and stuff that are just as conservative and red as some of the deep south is here, which
right.
is kind of scary because they got a lot of people over there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And but most of them are all, they're so happy that someone's willing to listen about what they believe or what they do. Um, and I get a kick out of them. So I mean, I'm an admin. I don't teach or anything, but
Right.
I still call them my students because that's what it feels like. You know, but I enjoy spending time with them. It's a
Now,
fun
so
job.
on the Sterling question, I know there's some evil. I've seen it. I don't know about what do you call spirits, he said.
Yeah, I've never. I know. I met Susan, psychic medium. Susan
You
Lynn.
Lynn?
Yeah, I met her and Jen from Jen's World Tarot back a year ago Christmas. They had come down for Jen's birthday, and they were going to New Orleans. And to go from Houston to New Orleans, you got to go right through my city. So on their way back, they stopped and we all met and had lunch together. And as we were leaving the restaurant, Susan turned around and she says, "You have the biggest angel I've ever seen standing right behind you, just like
I love it.
wings open." And I'm looking, I'm like, "I don't see anything." And she's like, "No, he's like right there." And Jen was in the truck, and then she got out of the truck and came back across the parking lot. She got almost up to us and stopped. And she's like, "Sherry, did you know you have an angel behind you?"
Oh my God, I love
I'm
that.
like, "Oh my God, y'all both see him, and I don't see anything." So
Yeah. Well, yeah,
I
it's
said,
harder for
maybe
us.
that's why I've been lucky and never been seriously hurt with anything. Because my guy's got my back. I just don't know didn't know he was there.
Yeah.
So now anytime I get anywhere that's kind of dicey looking, I say, okay,
Yeah,
you're on duty.
I do hear a man talking to me.
And
He talks in my right ear.
to
He's the
me,
one
it's my
that told
left.
me I'm going to do a YouTube video.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm so glad you did. I'm so glad you listened.
Indigo says, evil is real. I lived in a haunted house as a child and I was tormented by an evil spirit. I've heard stories like that.
Oh yeah. I've lived in a couple of haunted places. I think the worst was in Florida. We lived in a haunted apartment. And I was 11, 10, 11, something like
Yeah.
that. And it was like a poltergeist almost. It would move things and hide stuff. And I was sitting in the living room one day watching TV, and my mother was like across the room in the kitchen. And she opened the refrigerator door to get something out of it and went straight back like somebody had punched her. And she had a big bruise on her chest. There was nobody there. There was certainly nobody hiding in the refrigerator. It wasn't
Whoa.
long after that we moved. But yeah, we had all kinds of weird stuff that would happen in there. It was a very creepy feeling place. It's
Well,
neither,
the house I grew up in, it had something big time in it.
yeah,
And but my mom saw a full-fledged apparition come out of my brother's room and was going into our room, and she grabbed the 22 next door and went into our room, and there was nobody there. So it scared the bejesus out of her. That's why she would never sleep in that house alone with nobody around. But I
yeah,
never felt nothing until Dad ended up in the hospital and that house was empty, and I could feel something in that house.
yeah. It's a weird feeling especially when you realize why it feels off. I mean, up to a certain age, it just felt off. It wasn't until that incident that I was like, okay, this is something serious. I didn't know how to express it. I wasn't really old enough, but
Yeah.
it was attacking my mom, and that was not cool,
No, I know. Did she have other bruises on her?
She had a big bruise like on her breastbone. It was
Right,
like
but
nothing had
had
jumped
she
her.
been like hit other times by this incident?
She would wake up with bruises and
Yeah.
scratches on her and stuff, and neither my brother nor I would wake up like that, but we would have our stuff moved around. And we had a bedroom that we shared that neither one of us would go in. We would sleep with my mom every night in her room. We would not go in that back bedroom.
Because you
And
knew.
I'd go in that room and just my skin would crawl and be like, nah, no, I'm not going in there.
Right.
And so we weren't there long before we moved. And but yeah, I do believe in evil. I've seen it. I've seen it firsthand. It can be
Oh,
very,
I believe in evil. Look at Trump. That's evil.
yeah.
Right there.
It can be very terrifying.
Yeah.
And down here, you get a glimpse of some things even darker. You just have to be careful. Like I said, where you go and who you hang out with,
Right.
because you just never know. I mean, of course, I don't go to the clubs or anything like that. So I didn't do that when I was young and single. So I don't.
Oh, hell yeah. I used to go to the clubs. I used to go to the EM club, the Enlisted Men's Club. And talk about gorgeous. I'd cross that bridge and go to Treasure Island with that beautiful San Francisco. And the guys would be waiting for me and all my girlfriends with our drinks all laid out on a table. Tequila sunrises.
Oh yeah.
And they always had a live band. They had a band called YNT. At that time they were called Yesterday and Today. And they're actually called YNT, and they made it pretty big. And then also Black Magic, who played all the She's a Brick House and Money, Money, Money and all that. In fact, I hired them to play at my wedding. But I would dance. I never got a buzz off that alcohol because I physically moved so much. I wore it.
Now I would go to dancing clubs when I was young. Disco.
I love to dance.
It was all disco back then. We're talking late 70s. and yeah,
Shockwave said
dance
Ghost
the
of
night
Flight
away.
401. I saw that. I saw that show. There's a show called Ghost of Flight
And for
401. It's
I
interesting.
saw an ad for that, but I hadn't watched it. I didn't know if it was any good.
Yeah, it was
And
pretty good. It's about a flight that hit the swamp from the airport, Florida airport, and a
okay.
bunch of people. Some people lived, and then apparently there was another flight that hit. There was nobody that lived on that one. So
Well, I know we had a pretty bad plane crash here just outside of city limits about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. It was one of the little small planes that something happened and it crashed. Thankfully, it went down in an open field next to a post office.
oh
And
wow.
other than of course, the people on the plane all died, but no one else got hurt except for one person, I think it was. And they were just coming out of the post office to go get in their car, and they got hit by shrapnel. The plane hit like just as they were walking out.
Right. But
They got
they lived.
yeah, they lived. They were fine.
Okay.
But it was one of the local reporters who was engaged to, I want to say maybe the Saints, one of the Saints football players, or
Wow.
another professional. He was a professional football player. She was engaged to, I think it was the Saints guy. And she was a local sports reporter. And yeah, that was wild. That
Hey, can I ask you something?
Sure.
On StreamYard, do the people who you connected to your YouTube, right?
Uh-huh.
Do your YouTube moderators, are they able to stop any cray comments?
Oh yeah. Yeah, they can go in. They can go in. I mean, you can make, you have, as you know, you have to be on YouTube to make a moderator, to
Right.
make someone a moderator.
I connect my
And something I discovered is that I can go in to the show after it's over, when the chat is available for replay, and I can go in and make people moderator after the fact. I can go in and still change them. I thought, oh, that's cool, because then I'm not having to.
But on YouTube or on StreamYard?
On YouTube. I don't think you can do it on StreamYard
Well,
unless
they
it's
said
under.
you can. I was just Lisa Foster. I said, "Can you be a manager of my StreamYard?" There's a thing down here that you can ask people.
Yeah, you can have people added to your team, and then they can come in and have basically the same kind of ability to monitor your chat and stuff that you would have.
But your YouTube people can automatically do things.
But YouTube can go in and they can, time people out and do all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
And so that's nice. And the one thing about StreamYard chat that I don't like is it doesn't highlight your name. If someone does at Linda G because they want to get your attention, if you're looking at YouTube, it'll highlight it and you'll see your name highlighted. So somebody's just directed something to you. But on StreamYard, it doesn't do that.
Okay.
And so I've learned to pull up a pop-out chat from YouTube, and I keep it to the side so that I don't miss anything while I'm doing everything else in StreamYard.
Okay, yeah. I see.
So maybe eventually they'll get to that. I don't know. It could be just a YouTube thing. I'm still learning a lot of this as I go. Every time they send a new video out on something, I go sit down and watch it and try to figure it out. So.
Yeah, I have a hard time understanding. Although they are working on the membership thing. We have members, and a lot of people were getting notifications, and they are actually, you can't join as a member as of November 1st through the end of December, but it'll be much improved by the end of December. So
right,
they're changing it, and if you're already in it, they're not kicking you off. But I'm glad they decided to work on it.
Yeah, it needed to be worked on. I know, even for just being a subscriber, not even a member, it's like it would go through phases where I would get notification every time someone I was subscribed to would come on, and then it was like suddenly I wouldn't get any notifications at all, even when I would go in and click on that upcoming video to notify me. I still wouldn't.
I know, and that sometimes I was so, because people, especially that pay to be a member, they want to get notified, and it was out of my hands. But in the meantime, they'll still take their money.
Isn't that the truth? I'm not at the level where I have members yet, but I think you have to be over 1,000 and then so many hours, and then you can monetize your channel, and that's when you can create membership, if I'm not mistaken. I'm getting there, but I just haven't got there yet. But
okay, hey, listen, I probably had the same amount, same time frame.
Yeah, I'm just taking it one day at a time. I mean, I still work full time, so there's only so much time I can commit to this right now. And
your YouTube is Voices from the Swamp.
Right, yeah. Shari H. Voices from the Swamp. And I've had a lot of people say, why did you come up with that name? I was like, because I live a couple of miles from the swamp.
You have 542 subscribers right now.
Oh, wow. It's gone up since this morning.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, I love it.
That's very cool. Very cool. I'm, as it happens, it happens. I'm not rushing it. I'm just enjoying it. It's a lot of fun. And I love reading for people, and I love meeting and talking to everybody.
Meeting and talking to people is really fun. Like, I'm tired, but I didn't regret meeting everybody. Roxanne says Biden is going to give a very important speech tonight.
Oh, what that is. I don't know, but I'll have to be sure I tune in.
There's a kitty right behind you, checking it out.
Oh, yeah, that's my baby. That's Minou, or Chaminou, which is French for my darling kitty cat. We found her. My brother found her. She was maybe 2 months old. She was just out in the parking lot. He found her one afternoon. He was getting ready to storm, and he'd gone out to make sure his car windows were closed. And she was under the car just mewing away. So he brought her in the house, and we took pictures. We posted it online. We put up flyers, and that's one of the dogs. We have 2 dogs and a cat.
I know, my dog's hearing it, and he's like this.
And Mine will answer in a minute.
Thank you, Linda. I had the flu shot and the what was the other shot?
Shingles.
The shingles.
You said the shingles.
And the doctor said the shingles, you're probably going to have some side effects. So I was hella sick yesterday. And I thought it was the shingles, but my son wouldn't get out of bed, and he was having the same symptoms as me, and all he had was the flu shot.
Yeah, I think it's just an extra double dose that they sent us this year because of COVID. I think they're just I
had to cancel my appointments. I lost a whole day yesterday.
Well, when you emailed me yesterday and said, I feel really shitty, but I'll be there. And I was like, well, you're sick, man. You're sick.
Well, yeah, but I feel perfectly normal today.
There you go. So, and well, we had a question from the Hooting Owls Oracle. Welcome. That's a new name for me. I've not seen you before. Do a reading how Biden's speech will be tonight.
What is it about? Does anybody know?
Does anybody know what the speech is about? I don't even know what it's about.
Let me just throw on it.
All right. Yeah.
Because well, look at this. We're already going on 50 minutes.
Wow.
I'll have to come off after an hour.
Well, I know. I don't want to keep you. I don't want to make you get sick again.
No, it won't get me sick. I just have other people I'm supposed to.
Right.
I got another collab, and I've got my stream that I'm going to do for the first time, the free reading, and see if I can work that thing.
Yay! I want to be sure I'm in there so I can maybe win.
Yeah, you got to be a subscriber, but come on down to my, I think that one's at 1 o'clock.
1, 2, 3, that would be 3 o'clock my time. So, because I'm central time zone. Let's see.
Something about justice. Is this something to do with Korea or something about justice?
Yeah, I pulled a Page of Cups.
And maybe even military. Might be something to do with Putin or North Korea.
Yeah, I also pulled the Magician.
So
So
what do you think?
I'm getting a lot of power, and I just pulled the Five of Pentacles too. So maybe he's going to address some of the issues people are still having with the gas issue, because they're still messing around with
Oh yeah,
gasoline.
they're making more money than they know what to do with.
Oh, I know. I'm right in the middle of oil and gas down here. We have more millionaires per square inch than just about anywhere else in the country, except maybe Hollywood.
From oil in
We have a lot of oil and gas here. Yeah,
we
a
do
lot
too
of.
in Oklahoma, but we're not making any money on it. They're not drilling there. They
Well,
must
we
be
don't make
drilling.
money on it. They do. We don't.
Oh.
We don't get anything from it. I mean,
Well,
whenever.
as a Native American, they're supposed to pay us.
Right, right. Well, I'm part Cherokee, but I don't think I have enough in me to
Yeah, you have to be registered.
classify me.
And I
Yeah,
registered to my great grandparents, and I have investment in the properties, in the oil and mineral rights and all that, and I get checks
yeah,
from the federal government as well as checks from my mother's private land she bought, and they don't give you much at all.
yeah. And here in Louisiana, I know with some states, all the citizens in that state will get like a percentage every year on the revenues that oil and gas will bring in. That's what Alaska used to do.
Right.
Um,
I think North Dakota does that too.
I think North Dakota does that too, but they don't do that here. I know people have complained about it for years. They're like, and now we're turning into like a second location place for Hollywood to come and shoot movies. And we just
Oh,
had
it
Morgan.
was Atlanta, Georgia. Now it's coming down to
Now it's coming down here to us. We just had Morgan Freeman here shooting a movie, and every time you turn around, somebody was posting something on Instagram, a picture with him catching him somewhere eating lunch or dinner,
right.
and and he was very nice. I mean, he took pictures with people and
Yeah.
signed autographs and didn't, I know some of them can be kind of testy, but he was very polite.
Oh, that's great. I don't know
But
why.
I'm getting a lot of intuitive messages. I'm getting some insecurity. I'm getting
From who?
the magician. I mean,
Yeah,
maybe he's going to cover a lot of this stuff.
you think it might be about oil and gas, and I'm thinking it might be about Korea or it's military with justice.
That could be.
And if they said it's very important, why would he waste our time talking about oil and gas? We already know he ain't getting. He can only.
Well, and if
I don't know why this.
Your camera's giving you a hard time.
All of a sudden, and it was
Mine does that sometimes too.
I keep replacing these and replacing these. So
I don't know. Mine does it every now and again.
Must be the ghostesses.
There you go. You're just too beautiful. They have to blur you a little bit.
I'm going to come in for my close-up.
There we go. Now, when you moved in, it went clear. That's great. I forgot what we were talking about.
We were talking about President Biden.
Biden, what he's talking about tonight. Yeah, I know my cousin.
Roxanne said it's about the state of our democracy. So justice could be the state of the democracy.
Yeah. And oil and gas is going to have a lot to do with security.
Yeah.
Because as long as we're dependent as long as we're proceeding to stay dependent on other countries for our oil and gas.
Yeah. Well, I like what he's doing. We're going to make our own cells and stuff to do electrical cars, so we don't depend on China.
They just broke ground to start a battery manufacturing plant here. I think in North Louisiana is where they're going to do it to make the batteries for the electric cars.
Fantastic.
And so, yeah, that's exciting to see people here starting to do it, because it's like pulling teeth to get anybody to want to
Right.
go to green technology.
Since he's talking about justice and police or military, I wonder if he's going to hit on what happened to Pelosi's husband about this
Now, that could be.
going on.
That could be, because, I mean, I know that, especially people that high up in the government, they have protection, but except for the president and the vice president, I don't think anybody else gets protection for their family.
Oh, but when Supreme Court was complaining, Biden went in there and made sure they got protection.
Yeah. So, and then of course there's the newest that came out this morning that the Republicans had Justice Clarence Thomas all lined up to put a stay on all the stuff from Georgia, so they could switch out electors and do all kinds of stuff. And
but what happened? He didn't go for it, or what happened?
Well, their Secretary of State in Georgia, Raspin, something like that. He refused to do it. He refused, even though he was a Republican. He was like, "No, that's wrong. It's against the law. I'm not going to do it. It's the count. And I'm not fudging votes for you." And I mean, within a day, his wife was getting death threats at home.
Oh, I know, just
for him and his kids. So it's like, and then they're gonna get all bent out of shape because somebody makes a joke out of poor taste on Don Jr.'s.
Oh, I know. They really they can't handle it. And a lot of them, the first thing you see on their bio is Christian. Some guy I wrote him, I said, "How did I guess that you were going to say you were Christian?"
Yeah, I kind of got away from that code.
Yeah.
I believe in Jesus, but that's it. You can keep the rest,
Right.
When people ask me, well, what religion are you? I said, I believe in the Force.
Well, people
I took a little from here and a little from here.
What was the thing that turned you off about Christians? I said the judging. They put the suit on, says Christian. All of a sudden, they think they're better than. And remember, the statement is, he was first shall be last. He who thinks he is first shall be last.
That's right.
So those people sitting there judging or trying to maintain power. And now these churches are going full Monty. They're telling everybody how to vote. And that's so against the law.
They should be stripped of their tax exempt status.
But then you got Lauren Boebert saying, "I'm really just sick and tired about this separation of church and state."
Well, then you need to go to another country, because that's what we're based on. But I mean, I kind of got a cold awakening to that when Obama ran the first time. And it was the reaction from people that I thought I knew, that I thought were, loving, caring people. And it was all the ugliness that came out of them. It was like, oh my God, where did you people come from? And just, and just the things that were said, and it was just so horrible. I mean, I can't even repeat some of the stuff I saw people say. And it was like, and you're supposed to be godly? And that's what you're saying? I mean.
Right. Well, that Confederate, that KKK stuff, that's alive and well. The Nazi. It's like, wait, Nazis lost, it's the Confederates lost. I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't understand why people look at someone and think I'm better than you because my skin is different.
One of my favorite little pictures is 2 things of blood, 2 of them on an IV, 2 IV blood. It says pick the one that is the black man.
Yeah.
You can't pick that because we all have the
Exactly.
same blood. So
Exactly.
it's really a shame. Don't worry, enough people in this world is going to slowly but surely start
Yeah,
getting
I think especially with the newer generation, the star seeds that have come along, it's that
yeah.
we're ascending, we're moving
The
up.
Gen Zs are going to come out and vote. I heard 40%.
Oh yeah, I've had a strong feeling. I haven't felt this positive about an election
I
since
know, isn't
Obama.
that something? There's such Debbie Downers out there, but I'm like, trust me, it's going to be like it.
I just feel like it's going to go our way. Maybe
I
not
saw Mitch
completely, but
McConnell get
enough that it's going to he's going
Mitch
to be able to do what
McConnell
he
give
needs
that
to do.
solemn look. He's going to give that look like he did when John McCain did this. He's going to
Yeah.
give that look. And then so he's going to exit. And then I saw that McCartney try to hide and doesn't even say anything about it.
Oh, they're all hiding. You let a camera come near them and they run.
Got to be so good to see Marco
John McCain was my
Rubio being
senator when I
voted
was in
out.
Arizona. So
Who?
John McCain was my senator when I lived in Arizona.
Right.
And I
I
mean,
don't know if Carrie Lake's going to win. I don't think so.
I
But
don't think she will. But
I really worry about her.
when I moved to Phoenix, Janet Napolitano was the governor.
Hmm.
She did such a good job. And then Obama stole her for the, and for the administration, and it just kind of went downhill from there.
Well,
So, but then, hey, I'm from Louisiana. We've had our pick of really bad governors. So,
guess who else is losing? Governor, how do you say his name? Sheet, Shitt. Governor Sheet,
yeah, I know who you're talking about.
the
Yeah,
Oklahoma governor. He's
good,
losing.
good, good.
He's not good for the tribal members.
Just like when I lived in Texas was back when Ann Robinson was governor. She ran that straight beautifully. I mean, it
And
was
you know what? She was never ahead in the polls,
no,
but she
no.
win. So
She did. She ran that state with an iron grip, but it was all for the positive.
yeah,
She didn't let any of that trash come in.
right.
So,
Well,
well,
sweetie, I
Linda, I
gotta
know
go.
it's been an hour, and I know you've got other appointments. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you guys for coming.
It was just nice to finally meet you kind of face to face. And
Thanks. Try to come over to the giveaway.
I sure will. I'll be there.
2:00.
And I'm working on trying to get Mel to respond and get him to come on and be a guest.
On your show? He
Yeah.
hasn't responded yet?
No.
Oh, I'll tell him.
Yeah, give him a boost. I'm working on him and Andre. Those are my
Oh,
next
God, I
two,
love Andre.
my two big guys that I really want to get over here. I love Andre
I'll tell
and
him.
Mel both. So
Okay,
they're both tickle me to death. So
all right.
thank you everyone who came and shared time with us, for
Thank
being
you,
in the
guys.
chat. Sorry I didn't get a chance to really
I
keep
know
up
we're
with
so
y'all,
busy
but
getting to know each other.
yeah, sometimes it's nice just to
Chit
sit
chat.
and visit, just
Yeah.
to chit chat. So we're famous
right,
for that
sweetie.
down here. We all talk too much. So that's just a
Bye,
southern
guys.
thing. So bye everybody.
Bye,
Y'all have a
everyone.
great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.